What's up, people? This is DJ.
Hey, mi gente, this is Ish.
And this is season 2 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Salsa, mi salsa es caliente, la miel de mi fuente goza y baila mi gente.
I'm just a boy with love.
Oh, my.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, is our intro to Pero Let Me Tell You, episode 61.
Porque aquí hablamos español, inglés y coreano.
Okay, so welcome everybody to episode 61.
Yes, welcome.
So we were listening to...
We're actually watching the Billboard Music Awards.
The South Korean boy
band
K-pop phenomenon, BTS, that is taking the world by storm.
Yes, I always get confused. Sometimes I call them BTK.
Or B2K.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a whole other
It's
band.
a whole other band.
Other time.
BTK
whole other
is a serial killer.
Genre.
There's just a whole lot going on.
But anyway, so I mean, I'm sure some of you may have heard of him, of these guys. Some of you may have not. They had a really big performance in the Billboard Awards that aired this week, and
with the human version of the word fetch, Halsey.
But something that we kind of all been chuckled on, and we've gotten the consensus of a few people that have listened to their songs, is that they're singing in Korean, but somehow it sounds English.
Is it the enunciation?
I don't know, but it sounds English. Now, I know that with this song, Boy With Love, that the one they do feature Halsey.
Yeah, Halsey.
There are some words in English.
The bridge, I think.
I think they say my,
yeah.
and I think they do say Boy With Love.
Yeah.
But the rest of it isn't, like their other songs are
Korean. and none of them speak English. I think one.
One of them speaks English. He learned English watching Friends.
As one does.
And so he knows what a transponder is.
That'd be great if he actually grew up thinking that was a real word.
The real word.
Even though Monica says, that's not even a word.
But anyway, we'd love to hear from you guys if you heard their songs. Because they're singing in pure Korean, but it sounds English.
Sometimes I think it sounds Spanish too. Yo estoy más confundido que carajo. Not joking.
So how is everybody?
I hope everybody's doing good. Pero Friday.
Pero Friday. For us, it's Pero Fake Friday. Well, almost Friday.
It's almost Friday. It's
almost
Wednesday.
Eso mismo. Also, we're like really fresh when we air.
Yes, this is like...
We're fresh or fresh.
Yeah, well, there
you
go.
A little shout out to Darwin from...
Que voila. Yes, this is actually the only time we're going to be, I think, as fresh is in a couple weeks when we're actually going to be recording live. At the Union Beer Store on Southwest A Street. We'll be posting about it when we get a little closer, but basically we're just going to be there. I think we're going to start at 7, and we're just going to be doing our show, you, me, chatting, but in a bar.
This is as exciting as when Wake Up San Francisco did their show live
at the fabulous Alibaba Hotel and Casino.
Yeah, this is right up there. Whoever caught that reference, God bless you. But anyway,
maybe we'll meet Aunt Becky.
And Becky has bigger fish to fry now.
We're better to hide out than a bar.
That's true. So,
En la ocho.
So hope everybody's great. Episode 61.
Yes.
Here we are. And so today we're going to talk about, obviously, hot topics. And we have a great interview with Andrew.
Yes, Andrew, the owner, creator of Night Owl Cookies.
And if you're here from Miami or South Florida, we know you know Night Owl Cookies. You've had Night Owl Cookies. And we have a great talk with Andrew. And
we made him cry.
and he has some exciting stuff, aired, and soon everybody, no matter where you're at, you may be able to have some of his great cookies, Night Owl Cookies. They really are like crazy, insane good.
Which I'm gonna be a little sassy and just put it out there. You still owe us cookies, Andrew. There were no cookies at the interview.
Andrew, what's up with that?
Just saying. I wanted your Kit Kat chocolate chip cookie thing. I dream of it. Where is it?
Anyway, bueno. Let's get to our hot topic. So this week, let's talk a little bit about the Billboard Awards.
Let's do it.
The Billboard Awards were this week, and we loved the awards because we felt that it had a great mashup of.
It wasn't just new.
It wasn't
artists.
just like new artists. Yeah. It was like new artists, like kind of middle of the. I don't want to say middle of the road, but more contemporary, like Kelly Clarkson and stuff like that. But then classics like Madonna and Mariah and Paula Abdul, who had 56
years old, that woman. tossing around on the stage like she's a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
I love her.
They were throwing her around like a hot potato.
They were. She's forever our girl.
And my girl,
That's true.
Mariah, got the Icon Award, and she gave a hell of a speech.
Yeah, her speech was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Really
it was. Do you remember the speech she gave when Billboard gave her the Millennium Award in 1999?
I remember her getting it.
That it was the whole forget the big skirts, forget the big hair. That speech, that was a great speech as well. But are you into award shows?
I think we've kind of had this conversation. I'm more, if I had to pick, I would say I'm more into music award shows because
music award shows
because of the performances of it.
Right. So you care less about the actual award.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just like, okay, the Prince of Monaco decided to give Gwen Stefani an award this year. Okay, so
The
what?
World Music Awards.
To me, it's more about just watching the performances, and I love when they do songs that I know in a different way.
Right.
Because I know there are people who are very purist, who are just like, no, if I go to your concert or I watch you on a show, I want to hear the song how I know it and how I want to hear it. And I'm like, but that's why I have a CD or a streaming or whatever. I want to hear something new, mix it up. I will say I was I want to like Medellin, and I just can't remember it long enough to pretend that I can.
Yeah,
Madonna's
new song.
It's not doing it for me. It's not. Even I was hoping a performance.
The performance was good,
but it's such a.
The performance was good. The song was much better live than I thought it would be, because I'm like, how is she going to translate?
But that's a low bar.
Yeah, but I'm like, but how is she going to translate this song to like a performance?
Right.
Especially with Maluma, who Maluma right now is like really hot, you know, and he's a good commodity to have. At this point in time, I don't want to say that she could do whatever she wants, because
she can.
She can or she can't. She does whatever she wants, and she's going to be criticized. But then she's always criticized,
as in the Met Gala. She's always going to do what the hell she
But
wants.
I mean, I think that at this point in time, somebody like her who's so established, the fact that she's still releasing new music, and the fact that she's still. She's
still not a nostalgia act at all.
No, at all. And she hates to be labeled a nostalgia act. And the fact that she keeps reinventing herself, that says for something. Obviously there's going to be people who don't care anymore, and there's going to be people who do. I'm a fan of hers. I've always been a fan of hers. I think she's one of the best performers out there. And I think you and I have talked about this, that I think that just what she's done for touring, because I think a lot of people forget that the modern day image of a show, the spectacle of a tour, of a musical tour, was created by Madonna with the Blonde Ambition tour. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah.
That prior to that,
you mean it wasn't Lady Gaga?
No,
or Beyonce?
No, that prior to that, when you used to go to a concert, the person would sing, maybe change their outfit once, and that's it.
Yeah,
but she's the one who did this kind of Broadway meets a rock concert, and then that just changed what a musical,
changed
what a rock concert is. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe the rest of the album is good, but
maybe.
I mean, all I could remember of the song, and I've heard it several times right now, is the 1, 2, cha cha cha. The rest of the song is like, So, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who like it, but speaking of things that are unforgettable, so this is actually the reason why I brought up the Billboard Awards.
I don't even know where this is going, but okay.
So I felt I kind of live blog the Billboard Awards in my personal Instagram,
you did.
Which is weird, because you used to be all about live blogging award shows. I don't know what happened.
Oh, I moved to New York and I didn't have cable, so I couldn't watch
so that's
the
what
award
happened.
shows live, and so I couldn't live blog.
Okay, but you've been back a few years now.
I know, but now I still don't have cable, so it's...
Yeah, but you were watching it live.
That's
anyway,
true.
Whatever. So I kind of was live blogging, and I was putting a bunch of stuff on my Instagram stories and whatever. If you know me on social media, especially my personal account, which is pretty much goes who I am and even my personality on our show, I'm like the least confrontational person that you know. I never say things like I hate this or I hate that or anyway. So Taylor Swift's performance.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, I didn't see it, but
so again, I was on Instagram putting live, the stories, and I recorded a little piece of her performance, and I put something like, this if beige is your favorite color, this is what it would look like. And then I put another little
insult to beige.
I put another little Instagram story of Mariah singing "Hero" right when she hits a high note.
Yeah.
And right when she hits the high note, they put Taylor Swift. So instead
because of course you want to always not show the person performing.
right, especially at like the pinnacle of the song, right?
Right.
And I put a little Instagram story saying like, okay, great, Mariah hits the high note and I have to watch Taylor Swift's face. Right?
Okay.
And obviously I had put a bunch of other stories of other people, and again,
about Madonna,
I'm very positive.
Bella,
I never like, even if I don't like something, I won't go out of my way to like be extra negative. And even the Taylor Swift stuff, I thought I was being a little cheeky, a little funny,
Well,
right?
yeah, you were.
I was like, Taylor Swift is a bitch and she's the worst
Right,
thing
she should
ever.
die or whatever,
She should-
yeah.
nothing. Well.
Oh no.
I got a little hate on my Instagram.
From whom?
I got DM from 2 people.
Just random people or people you know?
No, people who follow me.
Oh, okay.
Right? And both of them unfollowed me because of the way I spoke about Taylor Swift.
Because you said she's one of those boring human beings ever.
I didn't even say boring. I said beige, right? Which is boring. But one of them was like, I really don't appreciate how you are spewing hate online, especially for somebody who is so real and authentic. And I actually responded. I go, hey, as you notice with all my other posts, I don't spew hate online. I was trying to be funny and cheeky. I didn't apologize. I wasn't going to apologize.
For what? You didn't do anything wrong.
I was trying to be funny and cheeky.
If you don't like
it was supposed to be a joke. But then I kind of started scrolling in his page. I'm like, oh, you're like a major Taylor Swift fanboy. Like he dresses like whatever tour video she did that she was dressed like a lion tamer with like the red thing and the top hat. Like he dresses.
Are you sure he's not confusing Britney?
No.
Okay. A good performer?
He's like a major like Taylor Swift fan. Right. So the point of the conversation is not even Taylor Swift. The point of the conversation is that here it is, which, this alludes to things you and I have spoken about before, the bigger picture. Right. Here it is. I put something a little cheeky.
On your page.
On my page.
Not even the podcast page.
I put something a little cheeky. Again, it wasn't even that bad. And 2 people got so outraged that they felt like they needed to contact me, and they unfollowed me. And it's like,
I think that's wonderful.
Which I turned around and unfollowed them right back.
I think that's wonderful.
And I'm like, coño, like I'm like the least offensive person there is. That has to do with all that whole, what is it? We live in silos, and if like,
that's fantastic.
God forbid, you are not what do they call Taylor Swift fans?
Swifties? I don't know.
Swifters, Swiffers, whatever the Taylor Swift fan community is. If you don't think she is the best, it's like, do you know how much shit I have gotten throughout the years for liking Mariah Carey?
Dude, being a lamb is like,
it's a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full-time job. It really is.
I mean, I would hate half of humanity.
It is.
By
Listen,
now.
and I say that as a Britney fan.
Yeah, I would hate half of humanity and half of my family and friends.
Right? No, yeah. It's like, but I mean, like, are you this person's? Do you know this person in real life that you feel this need to defend, a celebrity? And let's expand it beyond Taylor, right? I don't. If I love Britney, I will put as many things about Britney. I love the Spice Girls. People comment all the time about like, oh, she lip syncs, oh, blah blah, and it's like, okay, and what do you want me to say? You know what I mean? Like, no, she does. No, yeah, she does. Okay, next. You don't care for her.
But like,
move on. I don't make a bigger thing about it than it needs to be.
The bigger thing is,
were these people young or oldish?
I don't know, but they must have been at least in their mid to late 20s, at least. But my bigger thing is like, coño, you can't. You are bothered by following someone. There's so many. Like, somebody who follows me on my personal Instagram will see that I post about food, about travel, about me, about the gym. Like, there's so many interests that you could follow me for. I'm also very into like nice photography and having a very curated Instagram page, unlike you.
Yep.
Mine is like, my Instagram page is even color coded. Like, I'll post like,
I'm nowhere near that.
I'll post like a block of blue pictures or like pictures that are aquatic and whatever.
Nope.
It's like, coño, you are so bothered by the fact that I said that Taylor Swift is beige that you unfollowed me. It's like, coño, you live in such a silo and such an echo chamber that you can't be bothered to deal with other humans that maybe don't like Taylor Swift. And I don't even hate Taylor Swift. I have some of her songs.
But she's just boring.
I mean, whether she's boring or not, I don't hate her. I mean, again, let's go back to Mariah. I love Mariah. A lot of people hate her. They hate, and I feel that Mariah is very polarizing.
Yeah, for whatever reason.
Again, yo me voy a fajar with half of humanity. That like, It is what it. If you don't like her, you don't like her.
Oh,
Like,
it's such an exhausting battle. Listen, I don't want to think back to 2007.
but again, I mean, we're putting it to the confines of singers and celebrities, but it's the bigger picture, which I guess this is so much of the political landscape nowadays.
It's ripple effect into everything else, where it's like, oh, you don't like what I like? You're a horrible human being, and I don't need to be around you.
Right.
But what if we like 14 other things?
Right.
To the same.
That's like, I've mentioned it here on the podcast. You know, me, that I'm a liberal. I've always considered myself a liberal. I've always identified with kind of a liberal agenda. You know, if there's one thing in the liberal agenda that I maybe don't agree with, it's like, oh, you are a conservative, you're closed-minded. It's like, no, dear, I'm not closed-minded. I'm minded. I think for myself.
That's great. That's a new one, people.
Minded.
I'm minded.
I'm minded. That's equivalent to being whelmed.
Exactly. You read my mind.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Actually, you know what? Let's tell our listeners that, because I think our listeners will enjoy that. Dale.
Wait, what? Oh.
That you came up with the term with whelmed.
Well, see, okay, here's the thing. So one day I was just like, you can be overwhelmed and you can be underwhelmed, but are you ever just whelmed? Since then, on this cartoon Young Justice, the character of Robin actually says that a lot.
He says whelmed.
He says that he did that whole thing, and he was just like, oh, you know what? I'm just whelmed right now, and I'm just like, wow. On some ripple, I'm sure I've affected the pop culture landscape with one of my favorite characters, so I'm okay.
But I remember when you said that, I was like, oh my God, OMG, I had never thought about that.
Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you never seen anybody.
You know which one else you said?
Today.
You know which one else you said?
¿Cuál?
I remember when you said this.
You remember more than I do, and I say them.
You said, okay, you could be nonchalant, but are you ever just chalant?
Yeah, I've never heard anybody be like, oh, I'm so chalant. I'm so chalant today. Like, people are, it's like, I'm just be nonchalant. It's
so are we being chalant now that we're being wordy? We're talking a lot?
I don't even know what chalant is.
Because nonchalant is like, when
be
you're
casual, right?
Yeah, you're reserved and, maybe, I don't know. We're being chalant
We're being chalant right now. We're being chalant because we're whelmed.
We're whelmed.
We're whelmed, and so we're being
whelmed-minded people.
We are.
Full circle.
Dos come mierda, that's what we are, but
yeah, but I bet two other come mierdas don't have a podcast.
Es verdad.
So anyway,
people like us.
Speaking of social media,
okay.
So I want to talk about something very, very controversial, and to our listeners out there,
dog filters on actual dogs.
No.
Okay.
And to our listeners out there who are driving, because we know from our feedback that a lot of you listen to us on your morning commute. Thank you very much. We love you. Hold on to your steering wheel because this is like, groundbreaking news.
Well, if you're in traffic, you're not going anywhere.
Facebook, obviously, which owns Instagram,
right,
is testing out in parts of Canada.
Okay.
A version of a beta version of Instagram.
Okay.
Where viewers on Instagram will say the people that follow you will not be able to see the amount of likes your picture has. You will be able to see how many likes your picture has, but the public won't see how many likes your picture has. So it's kind of going to be like Instagram stories. When you
I can see how many people have viewed it, but you can't.
But I can't. Okay. So it could be kind of similar. Obviously, the reason
I was going to say why are
so they mental health? They have found they've gotten a lot of studies that there has been a lot of depression and mental health issues with social media in general, and they found these are the reasons.
No, but when you say mental health, I'm trying to understand because people will see that your picture has more likes than their picture.
Right. There's people who like their day is ruined or made great because of the amount of likes they have, especially teenagers. There have been a lot of mental health specialists, whether it be psychologists, therapists. Who've weighed in and have talked about the effects of social media on teenagers and on everyone. And they found that there's many aspects, obviously, the content that you put, your pictures of your perfect life with your perfect children on your perfect vacations, or these people that are, they're in this party, they're in that party, they're in this event.
I have to say something.
¿Y cuando van a trabajar?
No, nunca. There's this person that I follow. I actually know him. Didn't follow him for a while because his feed got really annoying, and now I'm following him again because I was like, "What is this person up to?" And he's doing this like 90-day no alcohol challenge thing, and part of the whole thing with the 90-day, every day he posts like X amount of days without X out of 90 days, no liquor, blah blah. I'm look at how great I look, and blah blah. But he keeps saying that like because of all the money I'm saving by not going to happy hours and blah, blah, I'm able to travel to like, these 4 or 5 different places. And all I can think of is like, listen, I don't think it's about a 90-day challenge.
Were you having Blue Label every day?
Well, I think if you're having that much that you can afford to take these trips because you're no longer going to happy hour, you may actually want to go see a support group because you may be an alcoholic. I think it's bigger than just a 90-day challenge. Yeah. But it's okay. I just wanted to bring that up because it's been on my chest, and I just wanted to bring it up. And again, he's one of these people who I don't. Well, actually, me and another friend have a theory about what he does for a living.
There's something funny because I follow someone, and somebody who I follow, and they follow me, and they've never given me a single like, and I've never given them a single like. And it's
so why are you following
somebody
them?
Who's associated with someone in my past, and this person like is constantly traveling, and I'm like, esta persona trabaja. Constantly traveling, going to like, expensive resorts. Because if they don't put, on the location,
right.
I'm staying at the Four Seasons,
in the middle
Shanghai.
In Shangri-La, yeah.
I bet you they're not staying at the Best Western, right? I bet you they wouldn't put it in their little location, right? And, putting all these exotic things.
We would totally stay at the Best Western,
and I'm like, mijito, tú trabaja. Because, I know how much, I'm a professional, and I know how much
things
make,
cost,
and I know how much other people that like are in law
certain
make,
professions,
and we can't afford that lifestyle. So I
algo no cuadra.
Or you're a trust fund baby. You come from a family of money. But anyway, back to the whole like thing. So yeah, what do you think about that? Does it affect you personally? Do you think that they should or shouldn't?
It doesn't affect me personally. I mean, I don't have children. I mean, I have nephews, but it's not the same when you don't see them day in, day out. So I can't speak to how those types of things may or may not be affecting kids. My knee-jerk reaction, honestly, when you were telling me about it, was kind of just like to kind of say like, suck it up, buttercup. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you're living your life based on my picture doesn't have as many likes as your picture, I mean, you've got bigger problems than Instagram. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't live your life for other people. And I know that there's some studies that are coming out that, but as we become more connected and blah, 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 that's more and more the case. But I mean, do I enjoy that's the thing is I also don't compare my pictures to other people's pictures. I just look at how many likes my picture got because I'm a little self-centered that way.
But then,
which you can still see, so it doesn't.
Right, but
matter.
You still fall on it because the whole point of this.
Well, it's a dopamine thing.
Well, exactly.
Absolutely.
But exactly.
I love when I post a picture. You post a picture
and you get 100 likes. You're like, awesome.
That's a great picture.
Or you post a picture that maybe you think is a good picture, and you post it, and an hour has passed.
Yeah, but I don't dwell in it. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, but I mean, maybe you don't, but a lot of people do, and I think that's where they're going on. That we live in this society now where it's based on likes. There's people who've built careers on the amount of likes they get.
On
influencers.
That's all influencers are about.
I don't follow a single influencer on Instagram. Not one.
I think I follow a couple.
I don't even follow that many celebrities.
I follow a couple of influencers, but not because they're... Well, okay. Let's be very clear.
Okay.
There's a difference between the people that we follow through the podcast and the people that we follow individually.
Right, individually. I'm talking here about individual.
I mean, I follow some celebrities, but celebrities that I love. Like I follow Jerry Halliwell because she's my favorite Spice Girl.
I'm going to tell you the celebrities that I follow is so weird. Like I actually love it. So I follow Mariah, of course. I follow The Rock. I follow the Spice Girls.
Okay.
I follow Gina Torres and Mandy Moore. Those are the celebrities that I follow. The Rock, Mariah Carey,
I'm going to write a screenplay that calls for all those people to be together.
Spice Girls and Mandy Moore.
I'm going to make this happen. You know what? Ladies and gentlemen, you just heard the cast of our reboot of It's a Living.
Okay. Do you want a more like
that's random as hell. That's
The
random
Rock,
as hell.
Mariah Carey. The Spice Girls, Mandy Moore, and Gina Torres.
That's. I'm going to use the word random because there's no other word for it in the English language.
I don't follow a single influencer because to me, an influencer's account is not authentic.
No, fair enough. But I mean, I'll follow. Like, there's this one guy who I follow. Actually, he's from Miami and he's a cosplayer. Mr. Leo Zombie. He's a Cuban kid. He lives in LA now, and he does a lot of cosplay, and he's into a lot of like geeky things and stuff like that. He is an influencer because he does do promotional things for other people. but I follow him because
that one's a little bit more because it's a cosplay thing. I kind of get it.
Right.
But these people who are influencers because they're either pretty or they travel or this and that, or I know it's like you're not authentic to me. I don't care how attractive you think you are and how good you think you're not authentic. Your Instagram page is a byproduct.
I mean, for the record, we are authentic and we're slightly influencers, so please,
right, but we
go to events when we post them,
right, but we have a product, we have something that we are promoting. We have a podcast.
That's true.
So yes, our our podcast Instagram is about something that we are promoting.
Do you think that's just an extension though? I've heard a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this too. I mean, I always give myself a pass because I work in advertising, but a lot more people are thinking of themselves, and in some respect, I think we always should have as a brand.
You're not going to talk about brand, and I'll bring Lindsay.
Sorry, I'm late, everybody.
I don't think we're a brand. I think that
no. I mean, people as individuals.
Let me explain.
Because because you've always kind of heard like you always have to make sure you brand, like when you go for a job interview, brand yourself as what you bring to the table, blah blah blah. Do you think that this is that extension?
I'm going to answer that question. I think that us as a podcast,
I'm not talking about the podcast.
No, I'm gonna explain. As a podcast, we're not a brand. I think that you and we have a brand insofar that we have
a name and a product,
and a certain expectation and personality that we bring to the table. But I think that you and I are the embodiment of a certain culture and a certain amount of people that we are. I don't want to say we're the face of because we're no, but
not yet.
But we represent through our podcast and who we are a certain group of people.
Okay,
right?
No, that's
so
fair.
We're a product and we're not a product because it's not something that we just created. We're just putting the voice through a podcast.
Like we always say, we'd be having these conversations anyway.
Right, of people who grew up in Miami or through Latin culture or whatever, right? That's in terms of our podcast. In terms of a personal Instagram or a personal social media page, it's one of those things that, well, if I'm a product and everybody's a product, then I go back to, which I've said this to you, about that quote in The Incredibles. If everybody's special, what is it? If everybody's special, then nobody's special. Yeah. Because if everybody's going to be a product, yes, I'm a product. I'm a brand, right? Well, if I'm a brand and you're a brand and you're a brand and you're a brand, then we're all brands.
We're all just commodities.
So then what's the point of being a brand? So then, I mean...
Right, but what I was trying to say is, do you think that it's that initial mentality gone haywire?
Of course it is.
That's what I was getting at.
Social media all comes down to the quality of your pictures. If you're able to put and curate your pictures in a artistic, whether it's artistic or interesting or intriguing way, people are going to follow, even if you're the most boring and basic person there is.
Taylor Swift.
I mean, it just is, and that's the brand. It's like whatever. I mean, I don't
know. I will say I know what you're saying. I don't disagree with you, but I think that there are some people out there who fall under the heading of influencer. I think some are accidental influencers, and we actually know somebody who I think I've described to you as an accidental influencer. I think you know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It's a brand, it's an influencer, but it's organic.
Right, but I think that if you're an influencer, think of just in terms of our podcast, of all the people that we've interviewed. Right? Whether it be Martha or whether it be Burger Beast or whether it be
the other
Martha. Those are people who bring something to the table, who have something to either promote or an angle on something, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm presenting to you. I'm going to talk about burgers. I'm going to talk about t-shirts. They bring something to the table. They're not influencers because, they just woke up one day, opened up a social media account and started taking pictures of themselves. No, they have something to give.
Okay.
And that's...
So there's levels of influencer is essentially what we're
saying. I don't
saying.
Follow an influencer if... I don't follow influencers. In my personal page, I don't follow people that their brand is them. Like, it's me.
Right.
Here I am.
But what I'm getting at is that the heading of influencer, like, just to use the examples, Burger Beast and Martha, they're considered influencers.
Right. But they have a product. They have.
But that's what I'm saying. There's levels of influencer.
I don't follow influencers without a product.
Okay. Somebody who just exists.
Right. Because I see so many people on Instagram that have, hundreds of thousands of followers, and then I go see them, and I'm like,
what do you do?
What do you do?
What's your, yeah.
Why, you take sexy pictures? I mean,
good for you.
Okay, that's great. Okay, you're attractive. So I'm going to follow you because you post pictures of you every day that are attractive? I mean, that's not why I'm in social media. I mean, maybe that's why you are or somebody else, but that's not why I'm on. But
I like posting the occasional sexy gym pic of me, with my little nip slips.
Yeah, but these are people, that's like, who's like a major influencer that has over 1 million followers? ¿Te acuerdas de Mica de Llano?
Yeah,
reporter?
From Primer Impacto.
Her daughter, Alexa de Llanos, check her page out. She has over 1 million Instagram followers. Her pictures are of her body.
So she doesn't do anything.
She got completely redone. No, I mean, I'm not saying something that's not true,
right.
And I'm not spewing hate. I mean, this is not something I think that's really,
It's factual. It is what it is.
She's in this Kim Kardashian product area.
¿Cómo se llama ella?
Alexa de Llanos.
I'm looking it up right now.
All her pictures of her in her bikini or her in lingerie, of her at, her butt, her boobs, in a pool, in an exotic location in Asia, in the Four Seasons, whatever, driving a Maserati. That is what she's,
Yeah, you're right.
Right. I'm not going to follow her.
I'm
not going to follow her. I don't care how hot or on hot you are. I'm not going to follow somebody who's...
My God, these knockers are huge.
I'm not going to follow somebody whose Instagram is about them and them only, and their, and them. I don't find that interesting. I don't find that interesting, and therefore I'm not going to follow it. But that's me.
I'm literally like a good 15 pictures deep, listeners, and so far I've yet to see anything but this girl's tits.
Yeah. But like her, I mean, I'm talking about her in specific, but like her, there's thousands and thousands or millions of profiles. I don't find that, and she would be considered an influencer. I don't follow people like that. I don't find that interesting whatsoever.
She looks nothing like her mother.
Bueno, pero también,
No, por eso, pero a eso voy.
I mean, when you look like your parents when you're natural.
There's just too much ass in these pictures.
She's a pretty girl. I mean, she's a pretty girl, but it's like, okay.
Yeah, but she's that social media pretty.
Yeah. So
good for her.
This reminds me of.
Oh, look, a picture of her with somebody else.
This reminds me of, and there's a show called Black Mirror, which if you guys
love that show
have not watched Black Mirror, I beg you to watch Black Mirror.
The one with Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yes. It's called Nosedive.
Yes.
Okay, I'm serious, you guys. You need to watch this episode. It's kind of funny, but kind of funny, scary.
Well, because it's comedic. It was written by Rashida Jones.
Yeah. Really? She wrote that episode?
She wrote that episode. She may have directed it too.
It's kind of like dark comedy.
It's, yeah. And basically it's a society where you think of your credit score based on your social media.
On your social media.
Essentially, right. That's what it is.
Right, but that accounts for all commodities, whether it's getting a cab or what space in line you are at the supermarket, or where you sit on a plane, or all that. Everything is based on the number of likes that you have.
Pero you know that is it China that has started?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it's a beta program or something similar to that, where it's basically like based on social media. I don't want to say based on social media likes, but I guess for lack of a better way of putting it. Like if people see you littering, they can give you like a negative star.
Yes.
And then it affects something, like your your credit score.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's why I would love to see if Instagram really does take off the likes of people. What so many of these influencers or people,
but they'll still be able to see it. But they'll still be able to see it.
Yes.
The back end.
Yes. No, mijito. Pero what? See, you don't have the mentality. Yes, I care that I got 1,000 pictures on my like. But what I care even more is that that I got 1,000 pictures on my like. That's the point of it, right?
I guess. I mean, again, that's my point. Is like I guess I don't.
I know
think
you
that way.
may not care, but you may not think that way. But
yeah.
That's how most people that are into this think. It's like, yeah, I got 1,000 likes, right? But I want everybody to see that I got 1,000 likes, right? Or that I have thousands of followers, whatever. So
that's fair.
Whatever. Anyway.
Wait. Okay. Can we switch topic? Let's stay social media-ish.
Okay. Because there's something else I want to bring up.
But in a fun way. I am not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
I am kind of extremely jealous right now with you because over the weekend you got to meet the king and queen of Cuban American everything.
Yes, I met Emilio and Gloria Estefan.
I am super jealous. And you know what? I'm happy for you, and I'm happy for you because obviously you met them, you posted it for the podcast, it helped us out, whatever. But
the one day we don't attend an event,
one day that we were not in sync. This is what happens when I take a day off.
And you know what? I feel that that's something that would happen to you, right? You would be the one to meet the big people, and then I'd be like,
because I'd be the one who's like, I'm gonna go to this event. I'll take pictures for the podcast, and then whatever.
But I did, and they were lovely. And when we started this podcast, there were a list of people that would be our dream guests, and we've already had one. Which
true.
was Gloria Calderon-Kellett.
Yep.
And although Sonia Manzano
she wasn't on there, but she got on. She made the list.
Yeah, she's a list. Yeah. But my number one is Gloria and Emilio Estefan. One of them or both of them. Yeah. And we got a step closer.
Yes, we're a little step closer.
I wanted to give her a pero let me tell you sticker for them to say pero let me tell you. Pero it was
a madhouse.
Chaotic.
I'm sure.
But that's my dream. So if Gloria and Emilio are listening to this, or if
someone who knows them, open invitation.
It will be our dream to have you on the show.
Listen, we will go to do the interview wherever they want.
As I've said before, I think that they are the embodiment of the American dream.
I will go one step further, and if we ever interview them, I will definitely, one or both, I will probably bring it up. I will definitely bring it up. They are, in a very weird way, sort of, if not necessarily tied, but sort of attached to the creation of this podcast in a way.
Yeah, I see that.
No,
because they're so deep rooted.
But that's not where I'm going with this.
Where are you going?
The germ of this podcast happened on my move back from New York. Mm-hmm. And what was the last thing we did before we drove back down?
Oh, we saw Get On Your Feet.
We saw
in previews.
We saw On Your Feet in previews. That was the last thing we saw, and so they are.
Oh well, there we go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
moving on, I just wanted to bring it up.
Before we get into our interview, I wanted to talk, mix it up a little bit here on something a little bit more controversial.
Oh, no.
And I wanted to get your thought on it. And, maybe our listeners have some thoughts on it too. Did you hear the whole debacle this week over the God Bless America anthem? Okay. So
God Bless America.
Right. So, now that you are into the baseball world because of work, you know that in the seventh inning stretch of every baseball game, they play.
Take me out to the ball game.
They take me out to the ball game. But many times they'll sing "God Bless America" as well.
Oh, I've never been to one that does that.
They'll either do it. Well, they'll either do it in the seventh inning stretch or at the beginning before the national anthem.
Okay,
right?
that I've seen. Yes.
Right. So in Yankee Stadium, they have played since for a while now. Okay. They have played the live version sang by Kate Smith from the 70s. It was a live version that she did in the 70s of God Bless America. Okay. And it's been played at Yankee Stadium for decades.
Not something they just started.
Right, for decades. And I think it's also been used in other venues as well. Okay. So it's kind of like the barometer, like the standard in terms of the song. So this week, Yankee Stadium stopped playing the song. Okay. And there was another venue. I can't remember the venue, but there was another venue that had a statue of her.
Kate Smith?
Yes, of Kate Smith in the front, another sports venue, and they covered the statue.
She's not Mussolini.
So the reason they did this is because they found that in the 1930s, in 1931, she recorded a couple of songs that would be deemed now very offensive and very racist. So when I read this, I was like, okay, so I'm getting there. Okay. So when I read this, I was like, okay, so she sang the song in the 1970s. The song is still being used. She's kind of like the standard for the song. She did a song in the 1930s that could be deemed offensive. Obviously, I knew right away it was going to be something racial that could be deemed offensive.
Like legit seem offensive,
right?
Or like maybe it's cold outside offensive,
right? No, I knew it was going to be racial, okay, right? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let me do a little bit of research and see what this song was about. So. In 1931, she recorded a song called This is terrible. She recorded a song called "That's Why the Darkies Were Born."
Oh no!
The song was written by Ray Henderson and Lou Brown. She did not write the song, but she did sing the song.
Okay.
The lyrics, or some of the lyrics of the song, are as follows.
I'm bracing myself. Dale.
Quote, "Someone had to pick the cotton. Someone had to pick the corn. Someone had to be a slave and able to sing. That's why the darkies were born." So, and she did another song.
Are you kidding me with this?
No, I'm not. And she did another song also.
Is this what passed for adult contemporary?
Heaven. Pickaninny Heaven, which was again about that.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you and the topic of conversation.
I don't even know.
So should a song or a performer, because obviously this is not about the song God Bless America. So should her performance be banned or
should we cancel Kate Smith?
Should we cancel?
Let's
have
Kate
it
Smith?
in 2019 terms.
Yeah.
Should we cancel? Is Kate Smith canceled? Well, actually, she is canceled. So the question is, should we cancel Kate Smith? Go.
Oh, but you do love to put these tough ones. I think this is, we've talked about this several times. You know, it's separate the artist from the music. It's, you know, can you like the R. Kelly song and acknowledge the reprehensible things that he's done? With this one, I think it's a little weirder. And again, I don't even know how to begin to talk about this without sounding like I'm being an apologist for racism in the 30s. Racism has never been a good thing, but I think in terms of social acceptability, 2019 is much different than 1930, whatever. She didn't write the song. I mean, sure, she sang it. Now, I will also go in and say,
but let's also look at the time.
But knowing what we know about the record industry as a whole, how much choice did she maybe even have about what she got to sing? I'm just saying, like, I mean, we've all seen the TLC story. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt only because... So
was she a teenager and the record company said, hey, ¿cómo se llama?
Kate,
you got to sing this racist-ass song because it's part of your contract.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, maybe it was Tommy Mottola's great-grandfather. We don't know.
God, only you would say that.
Again, I'm not being an apologist for the song. The song is a horrible, horrible song. But I just think that, like, you know, if her version is so beautiful, it's considered so beautiful, then I mean, just I guess you can play it. It's not like she ends it by saying, you know, except for the darkies.
I've said before here that, you know, you have to know history in order to understand certain things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like, for example, the whole thing with the monuments being removed,
mm-hmm. Right?
The Confederate monuments.
Doesn't change history.
It doesn't change history. I believe they should be removed. I believe that they should be in a museum. Make a museum of those monuments. Mira, in many countries that were in the Soviet Union, mm-hmm. you know, because the communist Soviet Union, they're all about monuments and statues. Yeah. You know, some of them are major works of art. They removed them
from public squares.
From public squares, right. They made a park and put them, and you know, the park is a living museum. I think they should do something like that. I think some of these statues are beautiful works of art. I don't think they should be destroyed.
And it's history.
That is part of our history. Nobody's putting that away. I think they should go to a museum. That's also kind of like when you say, well, you know, George Washington was a slave owner. Well, it's true. That may be true that our founding fathers, some of them were slave owners, and it's not a defense, but they were men of their time. And something that we have to reconcile, which I've said this before, and it's funny because I see myself as a teacher in high school explaining this to kids taking American history. Something that as Americans we have to reconcile is that as beautiful as American history is painted to us, that people from England or Europe were persecuted and they were coming here for religious freedom, and the Pilgrims came and they landed in Plymouth Rock because they were searching for, you know, religious freedom, and they will not be, you know, ruled by a monarch. All that prettiness, the colonists, that then we got our independence. That's the very pretty version of American history.
I wouldn't even say it's the pretty version. I would say that that's the introductory version, because you can't teach a 5-6-year-old.
That's true, but no. But you take American history in high school,
Right. But
And
most people, let's be real, most people stop paying attention.
right? But that's not an excuse.
At a
That's
certain
not an
point.
excuse.
I didn't say it was an excuse. I'm just saying.
I think that when you teach American history, whether it be in high school, in elementary school, middle school, or in high school, I think you must teach American history with the obvious mortal catastrophic flaw that the United States was born with, which was slavery. You have to acknowledge that we, as pretty as we want our history to be, that, you know, we fought for
There's
what was
ugly,
right.
of course.
You know, among many things, the worst was that we were born with slavery. That was a fatal birth defect. So that's why when you understand that and then you see our founding fathers, you say, okay, these were men of their times, as despicable as that is now.
Yeah, you can't retroactively.
My problem with this song is that this song happened, 1931. So
Was that on Jim Crow? No.
that was in the midst of Jim Crow.
Okay.
So that song happened well after the Civil War, well after slavery was outlawed.
Right.
Well after the Emancipation Proclamation, well after that. We're talking about 70 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
So I am of the opinion, I mean, this is what I think about this issue, that in the 1930s, even though we were in the height of Jim Crow, which was an awful time in the United States, that still was, I think, inappropriate for that time.
I want to agree with you. I just don't know. I mean, I wasn't there.
I still think it was, because slavery was not legal. So singing a song about glamorizing slavery or being cute about slavery, first of all, that should have never been cute. But secondly, it certainly should have not been cute in 1931, because, again, the Civil War is something that had been long and gone at that point, even though we were struggling with a lot of other things.
That's what I was going to say, because it's not like Civil War happened and then it was just like, well, we're all good.
Right. No.
we're still not
I'm
there.
actually watching right now a documentary on PBS. It's like a 4 or 5 part documentary called The Reconstruction Era.
Oh.
Which is post-Civil War, because the Reconstruction Era is currently, it's considered one of the most confusing times of American history. Most people have it wrong. And it's very interesting because right after the Civil War, a lot of blacks started to get power in terms of being landowners, getting money, being part of business people, being elected officials, going to Congress. It wasn't until like several years later that they started really enacting Jim Crow that they started taking those rights away.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, after going through the Civil War. So I think that in the context of 1931, I think those things were inappropriate. Whether or not they should be they should have her song removed. You look, that's something. This is not a like "Baby It's Cold Outside." That
right.
It's a little bit inappropriate. It changes with the time. It's a different time.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about something like slavery. So I think I don't have a problem that they removed it. I don't. There's other versions of the song. Now, should the woman be crucified and, dragged through the mud, so many years after she died? I don't know about that. But in terms of using the song, especially as the official song and something as a big capacity as the Yankee Stadium or in a sports venue, it's probably better that you change it. But, potato.
You know what would be even better if we all did during the 7th inning stretch?
What?
8 Night Owl cookies.
Well.
Just pass them out to everybody. Just be like, here you go, have a cookie. Those things are so good. They're gigantic. They're like the size of your head.
Why aren't they selling these in Marlin Park? Well, that's something that we need to ask Andrew next time.
Yes, we're gonna put that on our to-do list to ask.
Only on Pero, let me tell you, do we talk about slavery
and cookies,
and then go into cookies. See, that's why we're so well-rounded, people.
And if we,
I think that this is even broader than when we talked about Black Lives Matter and then Christina.
Yeah,
because now we're talking about slavery,
and cookies,
the horribleness of slavery, and now
the deliciousness of cookies
that make you feel good,
and they are yummy. Again, so if you live in South Florida, you've probably had his cookies, and if you haven't had Night Owl cookies, you absolutely should. They're expanding into Broward, and they're also delivering now. So there's really no excuse. If you don't even live here, you can still have them ordered. And I don't know, it was very interesting when we chatted with Andrew, because at this point we touch on it in the interview. We've interacted with him at a couple of events and things like that, but we didn't really know his story. in terms of
You think you know, but you have no idea.
This is the diary of Andrew Gonzalez.
Wow, whoever got that reference.
And on that note, here is our interview with
Here's the
Andrew.
diary of Andrew
Here's the diary of Andrew Gonzalez. And welcome back, listeners. As promised, we are here with the founder of Miami's premier cookie shop, Night Owl Cookies, Andrew Gonzalez.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for
being
joining
on. They don't even
us.
Tell you.
Thank you.
Our waistlines thank you.
Yes, or they don't. I don't know yet. But actually, it's funny because we've, at this point, I think every time that Andrew's around, we are eating.
That's true.
I love it, though. It's not a bad problem. I
Oh
love
no,
it.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just making an observation. We judged the best sandwich in Miami,
the Gay
Yes.
Festival. We were at Burger Beast's book launch at the Shake Shack.
Hamburger house party.
Hamburger house party.
Now that you're right, now looking back, it's always around food.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of upset there's no burgers or anything around us right now, nor are there cookies, but I'm probably to blame.
That's probably just because your fridge broke.
Yeah,
so
thanks for calling me out.
We're gonna blame it. We're gonna blame it on that.
Yeah,
That's why.
We're
That's
here
why.
sipping on room temperature water. I offered some room temperature vodka as well, but it is what it is.
But you have a great view here, actually, of
Thank
Coral
you.
Gables.
Very, very
So that
nice.
offsets everything. So thank you again for joining us. Now, for those who may not know, I mean, you were one of Forbes 30 under 30.
I don't know what Forbes is. Sorry.
A couple of years ago.
It's this little publication.
Tiny publication. It's a pamphlet,
You know.
really, almost.
Basically.
A little circular, if you will.
Might have seen it. I'm not sure.
Might have. Maybe you've heard of it. I don't know. They named you, though, as one of the 30 under 30.
Yeah, very honored for it.
And so tell us a little bit about, you've got this business, it's cookies. And it's funny because most people would say, like, well, he's got a cookie shop. And how does that translate into 30 under 30 by one of the biggest business
That's my
magazines in
favorite.
the
Whenever
US?
I tell somebody I have a cookie shop, it's like, oh, cool, you just had this small little cookie. Oh, that's so cute. Good for you.
So tell us how because I think your
lindo.
story is very, very interesting. Tell us how you started.
Thanks.
From your beginnings.
I think that's really what really makes me stand out. I started when I was 20. I was in college. I had this crazy idea while traveling that I wanted to bake cookies and sell it to 3 o'clock in the morning. There was nothing like that in Miami. Other cities had it, but let's be real. We're Miami. We like partying. We have so many big universities here. How do we not have that?
Thank you. This is my biggest complaint. I can never find cake at 3 in the morning.
there was
I'm
nothing.
serious.
That's because nobody likes cake. It's all about cookies. Let's be real.
fine.
So I decided, you know what? I could do this. I had never baked before. So I started, I learned. It took me about 3 months. Just literally trial and error. I burnt a lot of cookies. A lot of them just went to waste. But I came up with a recipe that I really did love. This is, again, back when I was 20. I was still in school. I was still working full-time as well. And
What were you doing full time?
so I was going to school for business and then working at a photography studio, editing photos full-time.
So again, nothing at
Nothing
all
to
to
do
do with
with-
food
Yeah, no.
industry at all.
Nothing whatsoever.
Not even at a McDonald's. Like nothing.
No. I loved going to McDonald's, but I wasn't working there.
Because that's open at 3 in the morning.
Hell yeah. So yeah, I told my parents, hey guys, this is what I want to do. Of course, they thought I was effing crazy.
You can
Here's
curse,
your
by the way,
son.
if you want.
Perfect, because I love fucking cursing.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I told mom and dad, hey, I'm dropping out of school. I'm quitting my job full time. I'm going to start baking cookies out of your kitchen.
And
Of
the horse
course.
swept in.
And as any good Cuban parents, their reaction was...
You're going to get kicked out of the fucking house. Like,
okay, right.
It was a
¿Cómo
shit
que tú vas a hacer
show.
galletica?
It was crazy. So they were a little more, they were kind of understanding, not gonna lie. They let me do it for a bit. They still thought I was crazy for quitting and dropping out of everything, but I went for it. And surprisingly, it started taking off little by little. A lot of people don't know that my first order actually came from California. It was this lady that she was ordering for her daughter. Her name was Erin, and Erin was having a baby. So she wanted to send cookies to her daughter, and I said, you know what, cool, first order, I got this. I went out of my way, bought some milk for it, I bought some balloons, made it look really cute, and went to Erin's house, dropped off the cookies, everything was fine, went back home. Later that night, I remember, this is like before Instagram really took off, she posted on Facebook, and Turns out Erin is actually one of the executive producers for Universal Studios, and her sorority sisters were all executive producers for big news stations. So one of them worked at Channel 7 and was the executive producer for Deco Drive. Okay. So that first order actually landed us Deco Drive.
Wow.
Surprisingly enough.
So talk about luck.
Yeah.
I know. It was a roller coaster. Oh, God. So, yeah, that was quite some time ago. That was back in 2009 to 2010. So that was quite some time ago. I was 21. I wasn't prepared for anything like that. If I learned anything in school, it was the number one reason a business fails is because they couldn't reach demand. And I never understood that until we aired Deco Drive within my first couple of weeks. Once it aired, we just kept on getting new, my phone was off the hook nonstop. I couldn't do it. I was having breakdowns.
Because at that point, it was strictly a phone call service.
This is just phone calls and Instagram. This is nothing big. Out of my parents' kitchen. One-man show. And I just had a breakdown. I couldn't do it. It lasted maybe 2 weeks, and I had to close up shop. I closed up for the entire summer, and I thought to myself, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to come back. Then I need to make sure I'm doing it right. So I reorganized everything. I came up with everything from scratch again, and I really did sit down and make sure it was going to be perfected this time. So fall semester came around. We opened up for business, and it wasn't as crazy after Deco Drive. I mean, we had orders off the bat, but it wasn't nonstop off the hook. And I kind of am appreciative for that, just because it helped me stand up on my 2 feet again and made me really get my stuff together.
So one of the things that you just said that really surprised me, and I think it would surprise a lot of people, is that the fact that your product is so good, but that you didn't have a baking background. Because I feel a lot of times these people that open up a cupcake shop or whatever type of bake shop, they've been baking since they could walk. So, I mean, how did you figure this out? Because, I mean, anybody can make a cookie, but how did you figure out this, night owl cookie, recipe?
So something I've learned along the way, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's food, photography, whatever it may be, was the people that really stood out are the people that broke the rules and did something different, which is what I set out for Night Owl. I didn't want to be just a regular cookie shop. I did things that reminded me of my childhood, things that I grew up on, whether it was guava, queso crema, galleta Maria, Fruity Pebbles, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, things that really resonated with how I grew up that I knew my generation was going to appreciate and really like. And nobody had that here in Miami. So, I mean, it really did help us stand out. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've had incredible success since then. I mean, you've at this point you've hosted several events. You're a fixture in, I mean, South Beach Food and Wine. I mean, you're kind of the go-to, dessert person. I mean, how do you kind of see that in your the grand scope of things? And I swear there's a question here somewhere. You dropped out of college and now you're like, okay, this is working.
Well, to answer your question, I think I'm going to be answering it is I really don't see it that way. It's such a small thing right now. I have a big vision for it, and we're nowhere near. We're just starting off. My first store had to close down because I had no parking. I remember. Yes. It was a tiny hole in the wall. Again, I was 20. When I opened up that store, I was 22. I signed my lease with $15,000 to my name. It was a scuba shop, and I thought to myself, I could do permitting. I could do a build-out with $15,000. Imagine, I was a stupid kid, just dropped out of college, thinking 15 grand was going to make me fucking this whole cookie shop, and it didn't, clearly. It took me 2 years to save up $100,000 to actually finish the build-out that I started.
They're the one in front of FIU?
107th and Coraway. It took me about 2 years to actually build that from the point of signing that lease. I was paying monthly rents without anything. I couldn't qualify for a loan. I couldn't qualify for anything. Just being that age, I had no equity, no capital. I had nothing to my name. So I had to save up every single penny. It wasn't easy. I wanted to give up so many times, but I mean, I had sucked it up and I did it.
And so during that time, you were still doing your regular order, that you were making at home.
Correct. That's how I was making my money. That's how I was saving up every penny. While all my friends were going out at that time, clubbing. Imagine, everyone's turning 21. Ooh. They're all going out. They're drinking, having fun. Here I am, a 21-year-old, baking cookies. So 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, every single night. Look at everyone's Instagram. Super, major
Total
FOMO. Major FOMO.
Yeah.
It was hard for me. It was not easy.
That's really interesting. That I don't think a lot of people stop and realize when they see something that's established, they think, oh, they don't
It's
think
just
so
always
much
has been,
of like the sweat and tears, I guess, if you will, that you had to go through, especially in those early days.
I've seen so many comments, so many DMs. People think that it came from money or that like I had this investor come and give me all this cash. And no, that's not the case. I literally worked from the bottom, like literally from the bottom of my parents' house and just have to save up every penny. And there's so many incredible stories I have working in my parents' house. I had a total of like 7 employees, 7 delivery guys out of this small kitchen here in Westchester. And we were hitting 3-4 hour waits every single night. It was crazy. And then it got to this point that I asked my parents, hey guys, like we had this one oven. I could only bake 15 cookies every 12 cookies every 15 minutes. And I was like, hey, is there any way I could add an extra oven in like the living room? So
well, you should have asked for la sala, like, which they probably weren't using anyway. It's all decorative.
So they thought I was fucking crazy. They're like, you know what, go for it. So I had this electrician come and wire up this like random oven in the living room so I could double my productivity. And we were doing it. We were at that point. It was this crazy show at my parents' house, and I'm never gonna forget this. It was the night before South Beach Wine Food Festival, and this was the first year we did it. We were the thank you presents for everybody, and I had my kitchen on 107th and Corway ready to go. My only problem was at the time, I guess I had so much going on that I wasn't able to actually calibrate the ovens, get everything ready in that location. So we were still working at my parents' house. And the night before the festival, I was taking a shower, and I remember I was getting out, and I hear this giant bang, and everyone's just yelling and running out of my parents' house. And I literally see everybody running out. My little brother, they're screaming, and I go to the kitchen, and one of the ovens is on fire. I guess it was used so many years, imagine how many batches of dough had to go through that, that the little corn on the bottom blew up and literally just on fire. So I had to get the fire extinguisher, whole 9 yards. We had to go that night to the new location and figure shit out because we had to bake thousands of cookies for the festival. And the night before,
TikTok.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, and good stories. I have great stories.
Stories
for days.
The thing that strikes me the most about as we sit here talking to you is just your determination and your perseverance. I mean, where do you think that comes from? I mean, because one of the things that we talk about here a lot is, I mean, as you know, growing up as kids of parents who came from another country and things like that. And I don't necessarily know your backstory, but you know, we always find that we feel like our people with our similar backstories kind of just persevere and keep moving forward because that's just what you did. You know what I mean? That was something that was just kind of instilled.
You're watching as like a tear up.
I am watching you tear up, and for a second there I was like, oh no, what's happening?
No, because it really is like what you said. My grandparents literally left everything back in Cuba, came over here for a better life for their families. And I wanted to work my ass off to make sure like it wasn't just in vain. Like, you did this for me. I'm gonna work my ass off to make you guys happy.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice.
Oh God, I'm gonna start right now too.
Sorry.
Wow, I didn't.
Let's think about cookies. Cookies make you happy.
I didn't mean for that question to go out.
You got me super emotional real quick.
Okay, Barbara Walters moment here.
I'm good now. I'm good. Yeah, it's been an emotional week. It's been crazy, but yeah. Oh God, sorry about that.
No, that makes for good audio. Don't apologize.
So, you know, one of the things I remember the very first time I heard about Night Owl was about the delivery.
Yes.
That was
the novelty of it. Yeah.
Get cookies delivered late at night. You know, so I mean, I know you said that you there wasn't any type of delivery service. Did you get any type of pushback from your initial concept of like the late night delivery? Again, because it's something that hadn't really been done.
This was like pre-Postmates,
This was
right?
pre-Uber Eats, pre-Postmates, and I think that's what really helped me. Nowadays, anybody could literally just open up anything, and they have these couriers that are ready to go and literally a dime. Uber Eats and Postmates has made it really easy to do that. Back then, I literally had to do this all myself. It was a one-man show. I would take the phone calls, make the cookies to order, get in my car and do the deliveries. Another quick story that most people don't know is the reason I expanded was because I was making a delivery and somebody crashed into me and totaled my car. So I was, again, a one-man show. I was making all these deliveries myself. I had to literally put it on pause for 2 days and try to figure something out. I couldn't make any more deliveries. My business was on pause. And that made me actually get my first driver. It was my neighbor. It was right after he graduated. This was in the summer. So he was going to be starting college and needed help, finding a job and making that money. So I said, you know what? Here, come. You can make deliveries for me. It's at night. Go to school during the day. At nighttime, come work for me. It worked out. So there was always that thing, in order to make money, you got to spend it. And I never really understood that. Once I brought somebody on board and I brought an employee up to make the deliveries, and I was actually able to focus on the customer service and the quality control. Orders started going out faster. People were happier. Within 2 weeks, I had a second driver. Within 3 weeks, a third. Wow. By the end of 2 months after that, we had a total of like 7 delivery guys working nonstop. It was one of those things that I was really scared to pull the trigger, kind of like the moving to the other location, even though it was ready. Sometimes you get scared, but you just got to do it.
Yeah. Do you feel that like your product, especially at the in those early stages, was a word of mouth, just like people getting obviously a great product, but hey, at 2 a.m.
cookie at 2 in the morning?
Somebody knocked on my door. They brought a bunch of cookies.
So I think because nothing like that ever existed in Miami, it definitely was a lot of word of mouth. Instagram again started blowing up right around this time. We had started our Instagram account was one of the first business Instagram accounts, and people were tagging the cookies. This is before like food porn and before Instagram stories. So people were literally, you get this box super hot. I made sure that the cookies were super Instagrammable as well. You'd open it up, you take a quick photo, post it, and people were looking at it. They were ordering. It was insane. Word of mouth and Instagram really helped our business flourish.
Yeah, I feel, and for those of you who, I don't know who out there has not, for those of you who have not gone to Night Owl Cookies Instagram, I mean, your pictures are quite amazing.
They are mouthwatering,
just the quality of it, it's like, Jesus Christ.
I could taste the damn Kit Kat the other day.
I love it.
And I'm also just a fat ass, but
my Instagram is my baby. I started that when I was 20 again. I no longer run it anymore, but it's gonna be in my hands again in about 4 weeks. I have it's gonna look very, very different in a couple weeks. Getting a completely new rebranding. You're not gonna recognize it very, very soon.
Okay, you're rebranding. So tell us a little bit. I mean, that's kind of like you're rebranding something that's so successful. Yeah. Give us a little bit of insight on that.
That was one of the hardest things for me. If you guys ever went to the first store, then you remember Chip the Owl, that blue little guy with the little circular logo. Yeah. I made that myself on Photoshop. I didn't hire a team to do that. This is literally, it was like a kindergartner did it, kind of.
It's cute. Don't
it
sell yourself.
Was cute, and I still have those shirts. I call them my vintage Night Owl shirts. And then I thought to myself, well, it's kind of the time to bring Chip the Owl into the 21st century. So he got a completely different look. He looks a lot more modern. You can't recognize him. I mean, I think it made for the better. Our boxes as well. We now have branded boxes that I love. My millennial pink boxes with the gold and my blue and my purple.
Is that a real shade? Millennial pink?
I call it Night Owl Pink.
Oh, okay.
Millennial Pink, I'm pretty sure is trademarked. Whatever, Museum of Ice Cream. But Night Owl Pink is what I call it.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, very simple and rudimentary question. Where did you get Night Owl from? I mean, obviously we know the term Night Owl, but was it as simple as that,
So at the time, again, I was going to school full time. I was working full time. The only time I had to bake my cookies was at night from 6 p.m. to 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was a night owl back then. So it just really stuck to me.
I mean, because you look at it now and you take it for granted. It's like, oh, duh, Night Owl cookies. But
what else are you going to call it?
But sometimes, those simplest ideas sometimes are like the hardest to get. So let's talk a little bit about like the actual product, the actual cookie. What were like your original flavors?
Original flavors, it was the chocolate chip, the Oreo, the chocolate chip, the Oreo, the birthday cake. I had a lot of the cereals back then. I think one of the last ones to actually be added to the permanent menu was the Ave Maria, the guava, queso crema, y galleta Maria. That one's super popular. It won us a couple of awards, but it wasn't originally on the menu. It was something we added afterwards.
I always assumed that it was one of the beginning.
No, it definitely was. It was added over maybe 2 or 3 years after we opened up. Oh, wow.
So what do you look at now in terms of adding like new flavors and stuff? Because I mean, really, the sky's the limit. What inspires you? What do you say? Okay, I think this is going to be my next flavor. Or
so I like literally Googling things from the 90s and just literally going on Pinterest and seeing maybe things that I forget about.
He says the 90s like if it was, the 40s.
Well, I mean,
our childhood is ancient history to him. You realize this?
That's my childhood. Things that literally remind me of, like, with every bite, just takes me back in time to when I was growing up. Things that you kind of forget about. Things I'd love to include in cookies would be like Gushers, fruit roll-ups. Things that normally don't go with a cookie, I'd love to make.
Is there going to be then like a Crystal Pepsi cookie?
Crystal Pepsi. I think that's even before my time.
No, that didn't end well. So no.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple different flavors that we're gonna be adding. Yeah, it's just, and aside from actually googling stuff, I love going to little supermarkets and little delis and walking around and seeing what they have in their aisles and seeing what can I mix up and yeah, go from there. You never know what you can mix up.
Listen, if you ever need like people to like try these new
Taste
flavors
testers.
out, taste testers,
Yes.
we're totally for it.
And you know we can eat because we've been with you to
Yeah.
several
I love
foodie
it.
events. So you know.
Like when I see like on the Food Network the people that are like taste testers for like Ben and Jerry's, I'm like, how do you
where do
get
I
that
sign
job?
up? Where do I
Like, how
sign
you
up?
do that?
I want to be either that or the guy who names the Crayola crayons.
I love it.
That's fun.
That's right.
About 3 years ago, I would actually do take a stoner to work day. So I would literally, I would get a friend or a family member and I'd get them super high, and then I'd take them to like a grocery store and like let them wander through the aisles and see what they came up with, just like out of their minds, and then go back to the kitchen and seeing how it tastes and how it came together.
Whatever came of those experiences?
So we had a couple. One of them was definitely the couch potato. It had potato chips, due to the leche. It was on point. I loved it. It didn't really sell very much. It wasn't one of the popular ones, although it was my personal favorite. It is gonna be coming back. It comes back once a year on random months. But yeah, that's one of the take a stoner to work day.
It's not a
By
staple
the
of your
way,
420
we
box.
commend you for the 420 box for
Yeah.
the change you did at the end, changing from the previous chicken strip to the Publix chicken strip.
Love
Just
it.
because Publix is amazing and their chicken strips are great, and it kind of makes it
Publix is
local.
one of God's gifts to humanity.
I'm kind of upset that I didn't think of it any sooner, but I'm definitely glad that I did change it up. I mean, I think that people really did appreciate it. People were happy about it, and I just want to make people happy.
Yeah, and Publix is such a. I mean, I know Publix is not only in Miami, but it's such a a
Florida.
Miami thing, and
Yeah.
the chicken strips are so popular.
But again, I even got backlash for that too, because
but why?
Because Publix.
they donate against the anti-marijuana campaigns and things like that.
thought, okay, what did they expect?
Well,
But
you
you
know
were
what?
gonna-
You can make. Wait, they donate to anti-marijuana. This was a 420.
This is a
box.
420.
It's like,
Okay,
wow.
it's kind of great. Kind of great. Yeah, you're not gonna go to Hialeah and like dehwasar un pollo and then make it yourself.
You know what, Andrew? You can make everybody happy.
Correct.
You know? Have them eat your cookie. They'll be a lot sweeter.
You
after
can't be
that.
unhappy if you have a night owl cookie. It's just like
I know, right?
scientifically impossible.
I'm so pissed off. Let me have this cookie. Oh.
Love it.
So I know you said that the stoner, the couch potato, was your personal favorite.
Yes.
What is actually your best-selling cookie, and what is your favorite of the ones that are currently on the menu?
It changes every month, but it's always like tied. It's Ave Maria and Oreo, Ave Maria, and the birthday cake. Those three are our top sellers, no matter what. They fight for the top spot.
Really, your chocolate chip doesn't?
It's like up there too. It's number 3, number 4. Ever since we made the change to the toppings, it climbed up there because back then it was pretty low.
I'm a little bit of a basic bitch when it comes down to that. Because like for example, donuts. Like I go to whatever donut shop, I'll always have a glazed donut because to me that's like the standard. you
Really?
know? I always like to try the basic.
I like
one and
venturing out. I like trying the things that you don't normally like.
He'll have the glazed donut, the vanilla ice cream, the sugar
don't
cookie.
make me sound that uninteresting. No, but like I think like okay, like I love your chocolate chip. It's like okay, if you can make an awesome
Right.
chocolate chip cookie, which you do, okay, the rest is like icing on the cake.
Right.
You know?
It's like if you can master the basics,
Yeah.
then the rest should be at par or higher.
That makes me so basic.
In a good way?
Anyway, so I know you got a lot of plans coming up. Can you share some of those, plans with
Yeah,
us?
so we have a couple new stores opening up. We have our Wynwood location opening up in a couple, I want to say a week, so it's going to be a couple months. It's going to be opening off of Northwest 2nd Ave and 25th Street, right in front of Wynwood Walls.
Nice.
Oh.
It's next to the burger
Perfect.
place?
It's next to Paleta Morea. It's a standalone building. It's massive. It's actually the size of the FIU store, but it also has another 1,800 square feet patio in the back. That may or may not be a bar. It's going to be very Instagrammable.
I feel like that was a horrible hint he just gave us.
It's gorgeous. I can't wait to show it off. It's my baby, and it's gorgeous.
That's awesome.
Very
Yes.
nice.
And you just started, if I'm not mistaken, you're like shipping nationwide now?
Yeah, so we do national shipping. We launched it. It was March 1st. At this point, we're almost at all 50 states. We've done several hundred orders already. It's only been a month, and we haven't been pushing it until the commissary opens that it's going to be shipping out of. Right now, our FIU store's doing the national shipping, and we're so tight over there that we can't do any promotions just because, it's a shit show. So once the commissary opens up for the national center, then I can't wait to go full speed on board on that.
Yeah, well, I hate to break it to you because we do have national listeners, so you may still be getting some.
Well,
some
don't
orders
worry. If you guys
through.
want to order, I'd love to. I'll package those myself for you guys. I can't wait to really. It's gonna be insane.
That Wynwood store. Oh, I can't wait to check that out.
Yeah, because it's not bad enough that I go there and I already roll. Now he's gonna add cookies.
So we started delivering in Wynwood already. We delivered to Wynwood, South Beach, Brickell, North Miami. At this point, we kind of deliver all across South Florida on Postmates exclusively. The Wynwood location is just a pop-up delivery spot. It opens at 6 p.m. till 2 o'clock in the morning until the brick and mortar opens up in a couple months.
Just curious, at least in the Miami area, is there a spot that orders the most after a certain time?
Who has the biggest stoners is what he's asking.
I honestly haven't
fatties.
checked.
Or fatties, yeah, pick one.
I haven't checked, to be honest with you, but last time I did, it was in the Sweetwater area.
Really?
Yeah, surprisingly enough. I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's
that
all the
makes
FIU
sense.
students there by the dorms.
But I think there's also something to be said about that's kind of your home base.
Well, you'd
You
be
know, and
surprised though. If you go, I've always thought that there's gonna be a lot of FIU students. We have such a mix. We get a lot of high schoolers, a lot of college students as well. But there's a lot of parents, families that do go, even at night. People are taking their kids at night. I'm not judging them. You do you. I'd probably be that dad that takes their kids at 1 a.m, not on a school night, whatever. But on a Saturday, I would. It's a fun environment. We try to make it fun, have a good time. Music's always blasting. Super pink, super Instagrammable. It's just a place that I want people to go and just forget your worries. As soon as you walk in, you have a great time. Who doesn't like a fucking cookie, especially at that late at night?
Yeah.
That's true.
And if you don't,
There's
you know
something
what?
wrong with you.
Yeah.
Seriously, you've got issues and I can't help you.
So I'm curious, now that, this operation has grown so much and it's so, running a business is so multi-layered, the kid who started off baking at his parents' house. And
Burning the house down
almost and making these cookies. How do you manage it now? Are you more now in the business side of it? Are you more still in the kitchen? How do you manage now this multi-layered operation?
So we have an incredible team, honestly. I'm lucky and fortunate enough. We have about a team of 30 people. And then, they're just baking and they're taking care of our customers nonstop. We literally have somebody at Night Owl 23 hours a day. There's only 1 hour that there's not somebody at that shop. So I brought on board my business partner about 2 years ago. He was one of the founders of Bean Show Factory. So he's in charge of the operations at this point. He is incredible. He has really helped me out tremendously. And what I do is more of the creative, the marketing, I'm still constantly in the kitchen coming up with new recipes and a lot of the PR as well. That's honestly what I really do enjoy doing.
So you're the soul of the company.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel that sometimes, like him, you started off with the actual product and cooking. Maybe the business side of it is not your forte.
No, and at some point you can only do so much.
Right. So it's how do you...
So I have this vision. I just need someone to help me get my vision and make it actually reality.
So what's the vision?
So what's my vision? I always thought I wanted the Starbucks of desserts, but to be honest with you, I don't want to be around every corner. I want maybe 2 in every major city. I want 1 for the locals, 1 for the tourists. In Miami, the touristy one would be the Wynwood. Okay. The locals would be FIU. Eventually, after Broward opens up at December of this year, we want to go to Orlando.
Great spot.
Yes, we're already scouting locations over there, and it's just the same concept: 1 for the locals, 1 for the tourists. I kind of want to be. I want it to be an experience, and I want it to be like the Disney of desserts at this point, where you don't have to have so many of them. It's just quality over quality. Almost messed that one up. So I just really want to create an environment where people do genuinely enjoy going, taking their family, taking their friends, enjoying the cookies, just forget everything as soon as they walk in, and just I want to make an experience out of it. One that literally gets people talking.
Do you ever see yourself expanding the menu, further than cookies, or are you going to just stick always?
So we do have an unconventional menu coming up that incorporates our cookies and our dough. We have a donut coming out that's stuffed with cookie dough. We have a couple different things, but the core of every item that we're adding to the menu has to do with cookies. We're Night Owl cookies, so everything we're adding on, all these new flavors, it's going to be incorporated with either cookie dough or an actual cookie. Aside from that, though, I do have other concepts that I personally am doing that isn't actual cookies. I actually have I'm gonna be announcing it really soon, but it's in the savory side of things. Yes.
Yum. Wow, that's quite a story. I mean, it's very impressive what you've done because
Inspiring.
it is because I mean, really, the saying you came from nothing and built something. I mean, again, as I asked earlier, I feel that a lot of times people that open up like things with anything with baking were people that were baking since they were kids, and maybe their parents baked, and I mean, you just said today I'm gonna start making cookies, and you went at it until you perfected it.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
really,
even more impressive than that, because anybody could quote unquote anybody could do that, right? And a lot of people do it, but you said no, I'm gonna see this through, and you took the time to stop and recalibrate and readjust, and okay, what needs to be done, and how can I figure this out? And you came to a lot of realizations that I think people in their 40s don't come to, and you were 22.
Yeah.
And that to me speaks a lot about just what's kind of going on in your head as far as your determination and your ambition. And I salute and congratulate you, sir.
I appreciate that. I really did work my ass off towards this, and there's a lot of people DM me. They leave me messages like ways to motivate them, and it's literally anybody could do whatever the fuck they want. You just can't give up. Do not give up and just go after your dreams. I am no different than anyone else. I bleed, I cry, I laugh. Literally, just go out there and do it. If I could do it, anybody... yeah, I did. Literally. If I could do it, literally anybody else can. So stop making excuses. Get your ass off the couch and do something about it. There's nothing worse than somebody who comes up with a bunch of excuses. We all have them, but I mean, get up and do something about it.
Yeah. Awesome. Bueno, thank you so much for being on, pero let me tell you,
thank you
that's
so
why
much.
we wanted you so much to be on the show, because you're the embodiment of like the type of people we like to profile on our episodes. So
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.
No, and we look forward to eating more of your cookies and whatever other food is at the next event that we're all together at.
Love
and
it.
cold beverages.
There we go.
Cold beverages for sure.
Love it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Andrew.
Take care.
And we're back. I wish I could say we were back eating cookies, but we're not. But we will be soon, because damn it, now I'm jonesing for them.
I know, Andrew, Mira, you have to send us cookies. All the other food people that we've interviewed have...
Chef Hales...
Well, and that's
I ate, but okay, but I ate I don't know how much food that day.
and then there's Creamy Creations.
God bless Monica and the flan.
Monica and the Flog.
And the flog.
No, but we as you
We
heard in
keyed,
the
we
interview, he was dealing with other circumstances at that moment. So
Yeah, no,
just the fact that he was able to squeeze time for us to
Yeah, you want to talk about somebody who's really busy? I mean, that boy does not stop. Like he gives Martha of Miami a run for her money in terms of
don't
busyness.
stop. I was listening to that. Not from going, keep the rhythm going. You can find the way. That's such a good song.
That's a fantastic album. I almost bought that album the other day at that record store I was telling you about.
That on vinyl?
They had the blue vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the mood to spend $40.
Oh, because it was blue vinyl.
Yeah, sorry, Gloria.
You know what questions you ask when you buy vinyl? Serious.
You know what?
Because I collect vinyl now. You have to ask, is it 180 grams?
I feel like that's also what you ask a man in a dark alley behind a Navarro.
No, because 180 gram vinyl is more higher quality and it's thicker. And it's day and night how the difference in the quality and sound. All the old vinyl records that I had from the 80s, they're all 180 gram vinyl and they sound pristine. Because
Are the reissues not 180?
Not all of them.
Okay.
So that's why when you find a vinyl record, let's say you look up now Madonna Like a Virgin, Virgin on vinyl, and you see it's like $10, that's not 180 gram.
Oh, okay.
They're a little bit more pricey, probably like $20, $30, but whatever. Okay. So that's your vinyl lesson of the day.
So many lessons today, everyone. So you thirsty?
Yep, I am thirsty. Tengo tremenda sed.
Ay, me too.
Dale.
Voy primero.
Yeah.
All right. My last soda, I'm going to give it to somebody who we mentioned in passing earlier in the podcast. I'm going to give it to Ms. Paula Abdul.
Vibology.
Honey Horns. I have always loved Paula Abdul.
S-P-E-double-L bound.
Oh, my God. I love it. Mm-hmm. If you're in the play.
No, if I'm the play.
I want you in every act.
I want you in every act. Every act.
I
have to say that I remember when Paula Abdul was in her prime, you loving her. She was like my Mariah. She was like Mariah Carey to me. Well, to you.
Yeah. I mean, look, she's never been a great singer. I'm not going to sit here and say, but she's the epitome of, I think, of a performer. She is a dancer through and through. I admire, respect, love it. I just think she's 56. They were tossing her around like a rag doll on that. She choreographed the whole thing. And now she's going to have a residency in Vegas. So I know you and I are, a bunch of our friends are going to Vegas in June. I think we should go spend New Year's Eve with Paula. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
Dale, let's sing. And all I want from you is what you are. And even if you're right next to me, you're still too far away. If I'm not inside your arms, I got dramatic, baby. Yes, I know. And I want you. I need you. Oh, man, I love you so. I think I know it's speed.
Followed by Rebel Without a Cause.
Our references.
It's, when you know, you know.
When you know, the more you know.
The more you know.
You know what's funny? I think that people that listen to our podcast and get all of our references,
I would agree.
It's a different experience than those who don't. Now, we still love the ones who don't.
I would love to know what it's like to not get them, though. Because, we got our references.
No, it's kind of like when we listen to other references that we don't get, we just move right along. Yeah, or sometimes we don't even know
that what they're saying.
Reference. So we love you guys too, but those of you who get all the references.
It's an Easter egg. It's an Easter egg.
Exactly. It's an Easter egg. So Paula gets a
last soda.
She gets a Coke. She gets a Diet Coke because of
just
her
one calorie.
Diet Coke commercial.
That's right.
So my last Coke of the desert goes to this lady who makes cakes here in South Florida, and her Instagram page is the number 4 Maddie Cakes.
Okay, I recently saw her
on NBC.
No, on our Instagram.
Yeah, because I.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I was just like, okay, I don't remember, but you handle our Instagram for a lot of like the follows and things like that.
So it's a very sad but kind of inspiring story. She has a 5-year-old daughter, and when I saw this, I mean, we see and hear about sick children all the time, right. But I don't know, at that moment it just caught me because I have a 5-year-old. It's one of those moments. She had a 5-year-old daughter, and she was diagnosed with leukemia, a form of leukemia, and they interviewed her with her daughter, and she doesn't have hair, and obviously she had to quit work to take care of her, right. And obviamente financial issues and all that. You gotta
pay the bills.
So she was a good baker, so she started making cakes.
Oh, okay.
And she, she's selling the cakes, and como te dije, her Instagram page is all for Maddie Cakes, and
how do you spell Maddie? M-A-D-D?
M-A-D-D-I-E.
Okay.
All for Maddie Cakes. We'll put it on our Instagram, and she does a bunch of little cakes. But it was just one of those stories that warmed my heart. They did a small little story
based out here.
Yeah, they did a small little story on NBC 6 today or this week about her, and it's just really sad. But they're very positive. They're trying to remain positive, and she's doing these cakes, and she lets her daughter help her, and I just thought it was kind of like a warming story.
Absolutely.
That in the midst of such tragedy or such a bad moment, she kind of found something to not only make a living off and try to support herself and pay her medical bills, but something she could do with her daughter. So because the little girl helps her out. So give them a try, or check out their Instagram page. Follow them.
Absolutely.
See, that's something you want to follow.
Exactly.
You're having an impact, a positive impact.
Exactly.
Rather than seeing somebody half naked. You can see somebody half naked anywhere on the internet.
Or at home. I mean,
remember, what was the internet invented for?
Porn.
As they would say,
Trekkie Monster was right in Avenue Q.
Avenue Q.
But I mean that's fantastic, and we'll definitely share her information, and you know what, I'm trying to think whose birthday's coming up. We can order a cake for.
Yeah, I the story really touched me. I mean, again, there's many stories like that. I mean, that we see on the news or we hear about it, but that one really touched me. Again, I have a 5-year-old, and I mean, imagine being told that that's something that you can't, and and she's trying to do what she can. So selling the cakes, and they look really good. So anyway, that our little podcast
can help absolutely.
Spread the word or give light on people like that really needed.
Does she have a website as well?
I just followed the Instagram.
Okay, no, because I was in the episode description. I was put the websites of the places that we talk about.
So, well, this was a full packed episode.
Ooh, it was
From Paul Abdul to racism and slavery to
social media
influencers,
Taylor Swift, and Madonna,
Medellin. Paul Abdul already said.
Emilio and Gloria,
and we talked about racism and slavery,
the Reconstruction era.
I
mean, if you didn't find something you liked in this episode, I can't help you.
No, I could not.
I can't. I tried, but I couldn't.
So, as always, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. And this was a listen, laugh, and learn.
Right.
The same way that our episode with the mamas, who we love our primas, was more the laugh.
Yes, definitely listen and laugh. That was
listen, laugh, and drink.
Much like we got 2/3 of the mamas, we had 2/3 of the.
Can you imagine when we have all 3 of the mamas?
Oh my god, and we're working towards that, aren't we? For June sometime.
We have all 3.
It's gonna be that's a lot of
3 over 3.
Yes.
So we're gonna have to go on to the gym that day and pump up our testosterone to give them a run for their money. But anyway, we hope you listen, laughed, and learned. And as always, grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your jupiña. And thank you for joining us. That was episode 61, people.
All right, bye, mi gente.
My goodies, not my goodies.
I got a sick reputation for handling brawls. All I need is me a few seconds and more, then it's a wrap. Tell the lady bring my